Amanda, I'm so excited for the show tonight. You know, we have Rich Eisen on, and he's got a really popular talk show. We have a really popular talk show. And I thought it'd be great if, like, the two talk show hosts coming together to kind of exchange ideas, make each other's show better. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if our show is as similar as maybe you think to Rich's show.
How so?
Well, for one, he probably doesn't have his marketing team running the cameras and the lights, right?
That's true.
Probably not.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I would assume their budget is probably way bigger than ours.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
And you know he has a master's degree in journalism from Northwestern, so he's actually like a really, really seasoned host.
Yeah, I can think of one other thing you forgot.
What?
He doesn't have a mouthy co-host.
Oh, Harry, don't you have a show to go do?
Oh, live show? No script? What could possibly go wrong? I'm noticing a lot of people wearing XL jerseys today. Nicely done. Feel free to mix in a salad every now and then when you go to our cafeteria. This is Callaway Live. What a great show we have for you tonight. I'm Harry Arnett, and we got a bunch of kids here today. We didn't know that. We always rehearse this as R-rated, so we're going to have to keep this PG-13 tonight. What a big weekend we're rolling off of. We had Jim Furyk shoot the very first 58 in PGA Tour history. I'm going to hold it. 58?
Pretty good.
And then he won the Payne Stewart Award that the PGA Tour announced today, which is, I don't know if they did that because he had the 58 or they were waiting for him to get a 58, but he won and then we had Wes Bryan win his third event on the Web.com Tour to get the automatic promotion to the PGA Tour, and I'm going to let you applaud for that as well. On the heels of what was some shocking news coming from the world of golf, really the business of golf, when we heard that a very important golf company decided not to sell golf equipment anymore. Did you guys hear this? We have some breaking news. We're talking, of course, about AJ Volpel's. These clubs are totally freaking sick and can beat anyone with them. Extreme Long Island Power Golf. You can go to their website now. You better hurry up because they're running a discount. AJ, sorry about that, dude.
Yeah, well, my last line of clubs got rejected.
Yeah.
The Yo XR irons.
I remember those Yo XR irons.
Well, it didn't work either.
I'm sorry.
So I'm 0 for 2.
Yeah, you're going to have to go back to taking selfies for a living, which will be good. So tonight we're going to celebrate all that good news with what promises to be our best show yet of the season, of the August block. We have Rich Eisen on the show, so don't go anywhere, anybody. We'll be right back with Rich Eisen on Callaway Live. All right. High-five that out.
Good work.
Virgil Herring here with another Callaway 30 Seconds to Better. The number one thing I see in iron play that makes people struggle is they come into the golf ball trying to get underneath it and lift it off the ground with what I call upper level management skills of a Baskin and Robbins employee. We don't want to scoop it. We want to twist the club down and squeeze it off the turf with our hands forward. So here we go. We're in a scoop-free zone.
Over here. Standing bar. I put a new bottle of bourbon up there for you.
Is that for me?
Yeah, that's for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our guest tonight, you guys know him from his days at ESPN. He's been the face of the NFL Network since 2003. He also hosts the very popular Rich Eisen show on the radio and TV, if you want to watch that as well. You always get excited for the broadcasters, don't you, Amanda?
I do.
I know. I saw you
Especially
back there.
Rich. We like football in this house, right? Yeah. It's almost time.
I like
almost
that.
time.
I like like the turning of the very hip phrase "in this house." That was very nice of you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Please welcome to our show tonight, Rich Eisen.
Wow, look at that. Very rugged. Very, very rugged. Hey, guys.
Rich Eisen crowd here.
There we go.
What Rich doesn't know is I told him behind the set here that he and I actually have a friend in common. A friend of mine from college went on a blind date with Rich about 25 years ago. And I asked him, he goes, oh, yeah. I was like, so tonight what you actually don't know is this is actually, we're going to bring her out.
Wow, that's great. Wow.
To walk us through blow by blow
It's
by
as
blow.
unpredictable as my golf game.
Yeah,
It's very strange. Wow.
So a lot of people know you from obviously your ESPN days and now NFL.
Yeah.
I didn't know till I was looking. You were actually got started as a print guy.
Yes, I was a newspaper guy in college at the University of Michigan. I went to that's an applause line for
Yes.
Attaboy. I like it. But yeah, I worked for my student newspaper, the Michigan Daily, and then I got out of college and I worked for my hometown newspaper, the Staten Island Advance. So I wrote before I got on TV, and yeah, it's been a great thing for all you kids out there to learn how to write before you figure out if you want to be in TV or not.
And do you recommend to these children to get into sports media? Yes.
I do, but you have to wait till I'm done with my job before you take it. This you have to promise.
And then to ESPN, and you really started at what I felt like was the beginning of SportsCenter becoming just such a cultural phenomenon in across the world.
Yeah, I got there in '96, and Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick were doing the big show at 11 o'clock and Eastern, and Robin.
Were they nice to you?
They were great.
Yeah.
They were great. Although Keith would just walk by me in the hallway and just say the words "not yet" and keep walking, and then I just realized okay, I'll buy. What do you mean not yet? And he told me that I wasn't close to doing the type of show that I could be doing, that he thought I could do, because it was just one big joke. I did stand-up comedy in college, and I just figured everything was a gag, everything was a joke, nothing was immune to doing something with a smile or a twist to it. And people watch SportsCenter to find out what happened and then maybe be entertained at the same time. So he would tell me that sort of thing. But they were great, and Robin Roberts and Charlie Steiner and Bob Lee were doing the early SportsCenter, and I would just look around, and with just so many people that I grew up watching and also wanted to be colleagues with. I was 26 when I got there. I don't remember how old I was when I met your college friend, but
She's in the control room.
she was. I'm
you
sure
were 27.
It was very strange, age appropriate, which is good. So yeah, I mean, it was just a wide-eyed moment for me, and it was something I'll never forget.
Who were your big influences when you started there? Who were the ones that you really gravitated towards?
Chris Berman is, the man, and watching him made me want to be on SportsCenter. Dan and Keith also were guys who, when I was in college, I just watched them all the time. Growing up as a kid in New York City, Marv Albert was the local sports anchor calling the Rangers and Knicks games, and with him, and I know I'm completely dating myself, certainly the front row here with Howard Cosell on Monday Night Football. I watched him, and I thought to myself that's the type of sound, even though he was a unique cat, obviously, that's the type of guy I was inspired by.
And then, of course, partnering with Stuart Scott for all those years.
Yeah, I know. I got there in '96, and Stuart had gotten there in '94. And they just figured, let's take a Jewish kid from New York and mix.
Stuart's Jewish?
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about yourself?
Yeah, by myself. Yes, I'm the Jewish kid from New York, and take an African American guy from Chicago by way of North Carolina, and we would just bring our own set of cultural references to the table, and it was awesome, and there was. Obviously, Stuart had rap lyrics mixed into his SportsCenter style, and I would bring Seinfeld references. And I remember one time we go to commercial break, and we take a break, and he looks at me, he goes, "What was that from?" I'm like, "That was from Seinfeld last week, Stu." And he just went, "Brothers don't watch Seinfeld." just made me sit there and go, okay, yeah, no, you don't get me sometimes the way I don't understand what you're doing. And it worked. It really was great. And, I met my wife at Sports Center. She was a producer there.
Did she ever walk past you in the hallway and go, not yet?
Always. 3 years. Great question, by the way. Great question. Yeah. And so Stuart watched my courtship with her. Now we've got 3 beautiful children, and he's just a lifelong friend and somebody who I will never forget. And I carry him with me all the time. He was a big golf guy too. He had a little bit of a, what's the word for it, unique grasp of the rules on occasion. His best stick in his bag was occasionally his pencil. But he was just awesome. Just one of the best people I've ever come across.
Well, I remember the thing that I really loved about you during that time and, leading into sort of the next phase of your career was a couple of things. Number one, a huge Braves fan. You were the only guy I knew that did a Skip Carey imitation. Everybody does a Harry Carey imitation.
Right.
No one does a Skip Carey imitation.
Right.
I do a little bit of one. You want to hear it? Because I met him.
Be careful, because it can sound like Dudley Do-Right a little bit from Bullwinkle.
I walk by, hey, Mr. Carey, leave me alone, kid. That's kind of the way, kind of goes You did the Skip Carey, but then the other thing was for you and Stuart.
Because at 1 year at the World Series, I mean, that's all I did was anytime there was a Braves highlight, I would just do, okay, here's a 3-5 for a 3 double play and a home run or whatever. And so I would do that all the time. And then I went to the World Series one time, and the Braves made it. It was '99 World Series. I was covering it for ESPN. And a whole bunch of Braves people were there, and they're like, have you seen Skip yet? And I'm like, no, do I need any sort of heads up? They're like, yeah, I don't know if he really likes it, but deep down, I think he does like it.
Really deep down, yeah.
But really deep down. And then he pulled like an old school big time maneuver on me, which was when I went up to him, because I went up to him myself. I went up to him just to make sure that he would understand. I'm not going to, back down if that's a word for it or anyway. But I was just going to go up to him and tell him how much I appreciated him, and imitation's the greatest form of flattery, blah, blah, blah. Before I did, I walked up to him and I said, Mr. Carey, and I had my press pass around me, and he just went like this to check the idea as to who I was.
Yes.
When everybody had told me the entire time, he knows exactly who you are, and he pulled that big time move on me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. And that's something I will never forget, because, I will always pull that out of a bag of tricks on anybody who wants to imitate me, 20 years from now. But yeah, he did. So that's a funny imitation that you have of him, because that's pretty much spot on.
I like to do that. I pull that one out every now and then, every time I'm reminded of stories like that. The other thing that I loved about you guys at that time is for 2 big-time stars on ESPN, you guys always gave each other the space to shine and then support one another, which when I think of your work now into the NFL Network, that's the same way I think that you go about your business as well.
Look, my job on shows like Sports Center, when it's a 2-anchor show, or a job like what I do with the NFL Network, I do like to interject my thoughts every now and then, but I understand it's my job to make sure that everybody gets their say and plays along well, and we really do. And with Stuart, just a funny story about how we occasionally did not do that on purpose is that we noticed there was an anchor on ESPN, a guy named Bob Stevens, a sweet guy. But he would always end the show when there was like 40 seconds left by taking up all 40 seconds. And the other anchor would just sit there like this on the 2-shot, and he would basically give you the last story of the night and then say what's coming up next, and then basically say, for Rich Eisen, I'm Bob Stevens. Thanks for watching. And you just sit there like this the whole time. So whenever Stuart and I were finishing a show together, producer would get in our ear. We're like, how much time's left in the show? One of us would ask. And like, about 90 seconds. And they're like, who's starting the segment? Well, Stuart's starting the segment. I'd be like, okay, this is great. And Stuart would start talking and keep talking. And I would interrupt him because I knew he was trying to big time me at the end of the show by saying, for Rich Eisen, I'm Stuart Scott. And we would basically try and battle for that last word. And we would just laugh our behinds off the whole time, just having a good time over big showing each other. But the show that I do right now with the NFL Network, you know, we genuinely love each other. Michael Irvin was at my wedding because my wife Susie worked with him in Fox Sports, and so ran into him in the streets of New York 13 years ago before we got married, saying, "You want to show up to the wedding?" And he goes, "Sure." And I looked at her as she walked away. I'm like, "There's no chance he's going to show up, is he?" And sure enough, as I walked down the aisle, I looked to my left, and there's Michael Irvin in an electric blue tuxedo.
I was going to ask, what was he wearing?
Electric blue. And, you know.
Could have been in the wedding party wearing that.
He could have been,
Yeah.
no doubt, because we were all wearing electric blue. Of course, my wife picked it out. And, you know, everybody was just craning their necks to Michael. And then the last big moment in my life with my wife and family, most recent, obviously, I shouldn't say last, but most recent, is we had a baby girl almost 3 years ago. And we were having a baby naming in our house, and because it was football season, we couldn't, you know, do it on a Sunday. So we had to find a rabbi to do it on a Saturday, which was tough. And we found one to do it, and the rabbi says, you know, my ceremony has somebody who speaks at the end and just says a few words. So I go home to my wife and I'm like, there's only one person who could speak at the end of the baby name. I mean, it was Michael Irvin. And Irv got up there and gave this incredible speech that he started by saying it's only fitting that Rabbi introduced him because people call him Michael Irving all the time. And that, you know, talked about how family.
It was a Rabbi Irving.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. And so, you know, that there's basically, you know, family and fatherhood and motherhood so important. That's just one of them. Mariucci's read to all my kids. He gave us, you know, like green eggs and ham and inscribed. Marshall Falk is Uncle Marshall in the house. They learned that he just made it the Hall of Fame, you know, even though it was 5 years ago. They blow their mind like, wow, Uncle Marshall's in the Hall of Fame. Kurt Warner's one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet. So we all genuinely get along. And it's my job to make sure that everybody just gets their words out, and and that you're a fly on the wall listening to the whole thing.
And then you do the 40-yard dash thing, which
Yes.
I think is one of the most unique things on TV now. How did that start?
Well, it started when the NFL Network started covering the Combine in 2005. And we did our nightly show from their NFL Total Access. And it was taped throughout the day. So just like anything in television, there's a lot of hurry up and wait. You're sitting around and you're just like this, waiting for the guest to arrive or when you're going to shoot something. So I'm sitting in the old RCA Dome, home of the Colts. There you go. Peyton freaking Manning shirt right there. I like it. I like it.
In the audience.
There's no other Colts fans in the audience?
No, absolutely not.
You need to clap louder then.
Yeah, really.
There you go. You got to clap louder. But you'll like this too if you're a Bronco fan also. So I'm sitting there with Terrell Davis, who was our analyst at the time. We're just sitting there basically like this. And I look down and there's the 40-yard dash line, and we're all suited and booted, ready to tape the segment. And I just look at him and I say, TD, how fast do you think I can run the 40? And he looks at me like that. He goes, right now? I'm like, yeah, right now. And he starts laughing. So I took that as a challenge. I'm like, just you watch.
Not a sign of optimism.
No,
Starts laughing.
no, exactly. I took that as a challenge, an affront to my abilities. And so I just got up, walked right down. He thought I wasn't going to do it. And unbeknownst to me, as I ran it, there was somebody sitting in the NFL Network truck who hit record. And there was one guy who was on break who just grabbed his camera and shot it. And later on that night, they showed it to me running it. I ran it in a blazing 6.77 seconds.
Yeah. It's like extreme slow motion. If you see it, it's still out there.
Well, it took me off of draft boards instantly.
Yeah.
But
full suit, though. I mean, come on.
there are extenuating circumstances.
Right. Yeah.
So I did it, and they surprised me later on that night on the show to show it. And then the next day when we were taping, Mike Holmgren showed up and he goes, do you have that on video, that you running that 40 again? I saw that this morning. We ran it for him. He laughed his butt off. Joe Gibbs asked to see it. We showed it to Matt Millen at the time. He almost drafted me. The
Cleveland Browns actually did draft you in the second round.
They did. They used to, and you could see what's happened.
Yeah.
And so next year I showed up and Holmgren asked me again, am I going to do it again? And I just said, why not? Started doing it again and again and again. And then, I stopped wearing lace-up dress shoes because one year I blew a hamstring out doing it. And those are my two things. My greatest fears is that one, I'm going to get hurt, and two, that it's going to jump the shark, which means that people are just going to think it's the lamest thing that what I'm doing, because I'm now a 47-year-old man running a 40-yard dash. But as of 2 years ago, the NFL and the NFL Network really got on board and asked people to tweet out or shoot their own videos of themselves running in their workspace and in whatever work outfits they have. And so suddenly firefighters in full hazmat suits are running 40s, and people are running 40s in lab coats, and it really started to blow me away. And we added a charitable component saying if you want to hit a donate button to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital while you're uploading your video, go ahead and do so. And DirecTV, which is, the home of my daily TV and radio show, they started chipping in, people started chipping in, and we raised a nice chunk of change the last 2 years for charity doing this thing. So I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I've got two legs and a donate button.
And I know this, you may not even know this.
Yes.
This 2016, you set your personal best.
I did. 5.94 seconds.
Yes.
Like a fine line. Thank you. That right there is absolutely, all 74 of you, the largest amount of applause I've ever gotten for running. That was anywhere at any time.
That was definitely polite applause.
That was.
And many people thought that the 6-second barrier would never be broken.
That's true. I know. That was the loud boom you heard in February.
So when you were coming here, we said to Rich, "Hey, you want to run a 40 when you're here?" And he said, "Absolutely not."
Well, because you can't pull a hammy before football season starts, right?
Yes,
you got to at least wait till.
You are correct.
Yeah. So we decided, instead of a 40-yard dash, we're going to ask Rich to compete maybe a 40-yard chipping competition, which is only fair, right? And we all happen to have these great TrueViz Chrome Soft golf balls, right? So I went with the Steelers colors.
Love that. Yep.
Shocking. Yes. Let's try that again. I went with the Steelers colors. Still only one. All right.
Still just the one.
So much for Steeler Nation. We're going to have to work on that, guys. And Rich, as a Michigan alum, we felt it was only fair to give him the Ohio State colors of red and white.
Wrong.
The heckling got more claps than Steeler Nation.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we're working with. Okay, so check out how we did. And there was actually one more thing we had to give Rich before this competition got underway. So we are going to give you a Mac Daddy PM grind, 60-degree, personally stamped.
Thank you.
With the Rich Eisen Show colors.
I like it.
Do you love it?
I like it. It says 40 on it and everything.
Yeah. So you are the only person that's ever allowed to hit that club.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm in.
Are you ready to do this?
Let's see if I can win.
Okay, let's go.
This is nice. Sweet.
All right. So this is going to be rapid fire.
Okay.
So we're going to let Jeff tell us when to go.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, God, maybe this wasn't a good idea to be setting up my balls like that. Okay. Oh.
30 seconds.
Maybe we'll go with the... Rich, I got to tell you.
It's terrible.
I don't think we're impressing anybody. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Okay.
20 seconds.
I'm not good under pressure. Oh, no. I swear in practice I was better. How are you doing over there, Rich?
I've got 4 to go.
Okay.
And now I had 2 at the same time, so that's a problem.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
You're going to win. That's a nice one. You just hit there.
Okay, thank you.
It's my last one.
Get it, baby.
Oh, you've won. Look at that one. Look how tight that one is.
You only need to be lucky once.
I know.
Sometimes, you know?
Good job.
That's good work by you.
And you actually have one more to go. Hold on a minute, just in case it's your...
If you get closer right now with this one, you win.
Pressure's on.
Oh, Rich, that was good.
Oh, of course, I hit an actual one with juice on it. That's terrible.
All right, well,
Congratulations.
Well, we were both pretty subpar.
Yes,
and not,
we were.
Not a good way.
I appreciate the accurate description.
What did you win?
I think I won bragging rights for another year.
Yes,
but I will say now this kind of brings the idea into my mind that maybe I will take on the 40-yard dash challenge against your time.
Do it.
And we can get all square then.
Do it. Please.
Right now, Amanda. Let's go.
In heels. In 6-inch heels. Yeah,
we won't do that to you
that
right
was a lot of fun. Steeler colors always win. We already knew that, though, before the before the competition began.
I got spooked by the Ohio State stuff. I couldn't get
who
past
wouldn't,
it.
in all fairness. So it was a solid solid competition. There's a lot of fun out there, and that PM grind, I think, is going to do some wonders for your game.
Yes, I can't wait. By the way, the 60 degree, I got a little action on it at the end, and I didn't need it to check up, but it did.
I like the lingo, too, that you're dropping on us tonight.
You like? I just figure, I got to, when in Rome.
Yeah. I think
when in Carlsbad.
Well, exactly. And we love the lingo so much, and you guys know that we're huge Rich fans here. We thought you should call golf. I know that you're tied up in this NFL network thing, and I know you got your radio show, but one of the things that we always love to do when we have our favorite sportscasters on is give them a chance to call golf.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, you guys know this, we love to have them call Phil Mickelson's greatest shots at Augusta National, with the caveat being we don't have the budget to have any of the rights to any of that stuff. So we, of course, use the same footage of our own Ethan Ganote imitating Phil Mickelson.
Yes.
Let's go out to 13, Rich.
Okay, I left the card back there. Can I go get it?
I got you.
Okay,
Man, go get it. This is 13. There's Ethan there.
Okay, there he is.
He's on 13.
He's on 13. It looks like he's got a tree in front of him. He seems to be gesturing at something to happen. Bones is giving his thumbs up. Here's Mickelson off the pine straw. There's a big ass tree in front of him. Look out! Look out! But Phil,
he did it.
Undaunted. He survives the carom off the tree and the pine straw, and the patrons are making noise.
Wow, with the patrons.
Yes.
Patrons. Well done.
Okay.
Let's go out to 15. This is 2 years ago. Nice use of the word
Let's go out
patrons.
to
Yeah, that was very
15.
well done.
2015, third shot, trying to make eagle from the bunker. Here's Phil, trying to use his famous flop shot, but he missed. Phil's famous flop shot is still in his bag, and now he's celebrating, even though he has no right to. Oh, nice, kicking off the,
great walk
the
here,
sand, and he doesn't rake his
Patting
own
the thumb
trap. Now he's stalking the green and pumping fists.
You are a pro. Most professional broadcasters get distracted by the power lines there.
No,
Yeah, that
not
was
me.
excellent.
No, I saw straight through that.
I like that. All right, last one.
Last one.
Here we go.
Phil, the greatest
This is,
player.
of course, this is Phil on 18.
The greatest player to not win a major. About to come to an end. Phil Mickelson to win the Masters. One putt to win. It's on its way. And he jumps for joy in the most unmasculine way possible.
All right. How about saying it? Nice job. I think they may call
You guys gave me a lot to work with.
So what are you most excited about going forward on the Rich Eisen show? What do we have to look forward to?
Oh gosh, we're turning 2. The show's just still in a way in its infancy. We're getting some great guests from the entertainment world as well as the sports world. We're sitting in this beautiful studio that DirecTV has built on its campus there in El Segundo. Come on by. We've got people who walk on by and stop by all the time. The football season's coming, which is always great. As you could tell, everybody in this room is all fired up for it. I am too. So, we're on 180 radio stations now, and we just got this neat new app. Please download it, where you can call the show and get videos from the show, and the podcast with just presses of buttons and videos galore, and it's just great.
You really don't know how any of that works, do you?
No, I don't. I do know that you just have to hit the certain cloud that comes up. You press it, and it just twirls, and suddenly it shows up.
Yes.
These are all technical terms you may not understand.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just loving it. That, and then the football season comes. It's a busy time for me, but there's nothing better.
It's obvious to us, for those of us that are fans of yours and watch you do what you do, that no one has more fun than you do.
Thanks.
And it's been a pleasure to have you here on the show.
No, please have me back.
We will have you back.
Went fast.
We'll run some 40s, and
Or drink some.
We'll drink some 40s.
Yeah.
Thanks to Rich. Oh, let me do this.
Yeah, go for it.
We have Jamie Sadlowski on the show next week. Make sure you watch that for Amanda Balionis.
Nice.
And Rich Eisen.
Big time.